of this chat here, we're going to look at it, or I'm going to kind of dive into it from a hormone perspective. How are toxins affecting your hormones, and what can you do to really help that along, you know, to safely remove those toxins from your body? You guys are already doing a great job with the products you're using, but what if there's already underlying toxicity or other ways that we're becoming toxic, not just the products that we're using? So hopefully that's beneficial to everyone on here. So, okay.
I definitely think it will be. So I know you have a presentation and a few slides we want to share, because when he gets into some of the details, I think it's really helpful to have some of those graphics available. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And again, we're just excited about being able to share some of this information with our consultant community, as well as so many of our Lemongrass customers. Yes. So thank you for that.
So as the slides pull up, I will give you a caveat. I do speak a lot with my hands. So if I've given Heidi the okay that if there's something on there that I explain with my hands and I didn't explain with my words, that she's going to be able to interrupt me. So so we'll just dive in here. Just a little bit of background on me first. You guys gotta know who I am. That middle picture there, that's me. That's my wife. Those are our 4 kiddos. This is probably a year ago. I love that picture because you can see that my little one, she does not like baseball. We were at a baseball game there, so no baseball fans there.
She did not seem happy at all.
On the right side there, that's my wife and I. We just had an awesome opportunity to travel to the Rio Olympics with the USA wrestling team. We're part of the delegates that kind of supported them behind the scenes and helped them out. So that was awesome that we got that opportunity. Over on the left-hand side, you see 2 pictures. The bottom one, that's my co-partner and myself. We have a potentialist podcast. So there's a podcast out there that we do. But I really want to point the top left corner. 1 year ago, almost to the date, it was just after Valentine's, I had the opportunity to travel with 13 men to raise some funds for orphans and widows in Africa. And to raise the funds, we actually climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, which was hard. It's probably the hardest thing I've ever done. But I love that picture because something you don't see there is about halfway through our journey up the mountain. I don't know if you know, we're from Florida, so we don't climb down here. So it was hard, but halfway up, I didn't realize that the wind and how it affects your face and your lips, and nobody really took that into account. Luckily, I had thrown some healing balm in my bag, and halfway up the mountain, like everybody's like, we have chapstick, it's not working. I pull out this healing balm and I start putting it on my lips and my face and my nose, and every male on that trip was so thankful for the lemongrass pot healing balm. So anyways, the healing balm has made it to the top of Africa. So I thought that was pretty neat. I share all that with you kind of just to give you a little bit of background, but this isn't my passion, and my story doesn't start there. I mean, that's what you see now, but my passion for health, my passion for, toxicity and hormones, it starts way before that, and it's really my story. When I was growing up, I was a child that was constantly sick, always on medications, in and out of hospitals constantly. And one of the things that early on happened was that antibiotics destroyed my gut. Literally, my gut, I couldn't hold food down. I was the skinniest kid you're ever going to see all the way through elementary school. And then from elementary school, that summer going into middle school, I started to pass out. And they said that I was hypoglycemic. That means if you don't know what that is, that means your blood sugar drops. And the answer to my mom at the time was that I needed to walk around with sugar, like a candy bar, and a sugar pouch, like a Capri Sun, like a sugar juice. Because if my blood sugar dropped, I had to do what? Bring it back up. So you give a middle schooler now free range at candy bars and juices. In 2 years, I became the most obese kid in my middle school class. I went from the skinniest kid to the most obese kid. That's a picture of me there in middle school. And if we could think back to middle school and think back to the hormones that are changing, the bullying that starts to happen, I'm back at the doctor's office because at this point, this is 2 years into this, they had done more testing. And through the testing, they said, I remember at the end of the doctor's office, they come out with my family there, my mom there, and they said, hey, look, you went from being hypoglycemic, which is on one side of the spectrum, now you're on the other side, you're pre-diabetic, which means my hormones completely flipped over to the other side. So at that point, the doctor looks at my mom and says, your grandparents have diabetes, they have cardiovascular issues, there's He goes down the list of all of the different chronic diseases. He looks at my mom and says, you're already on medication. this is just in your genes. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember going home that day, thinking and processing through all this middle school stuff. And I went to my room. I pulled open a drawer. I pulled out a tie. I fastened it to the top of a door, and I put it around my neck, and I tried committing suicide that day. And I share that story because I didn't share that for a lot of years in practice. There's something, God didn't have me at that place, but now for the last 5 years, I've been sharing that story because I think so many people are living that journey. They're on that journey where they've been told, this is in your genes, this is the way it's going to be, and there's just nothing you can do. Yeah. I am a living testament that there's so much you can do. This company, Lemongrass, is a living testament to that, because we know now from this, all the research in epigenetics, that's the research when they look at genes and how they affect your body. Genetics, they say about 5, maybe up to 10% is they influence you. There's no doubt about that. For the other 90 to 95%, it's the lifestyle choices that you're making. It's a lifestyle choices we're making here, putting stuff on our skin or the makeup or the products we use to clean. All of that stuff matters to your genetics. And that's what we want to talk about today. Like I said, from a hormone perspective. So with that, I'm going to jump right in. What are hormones? How do they work? Really simple. I like to talk about this lock and key arrangement. If you picture the key as the hormone, let's say, let me give you an example of diabetes. Insulin would be the hormone, right? The lock is your receptors or your organ or your system that uses that key. So in diabetes, for example, the lock would be your cells.
Yeah.
And then the key, insulin, would come up, would attach to your cell, turn the lock and open the lock, which when the lock opens or the cell opens, it allows sugar to get into the cell and be used. What happens? If I damage that lock, if I went and put like a piece of gum on that lock, I would not be able to use that key on that lock. There's damage there. And this is what happens to our body. In diabetes, for example, if the lock is damaged and the insulin can't communicate, that's when the sugar stays in your system, starts to get elevated, and then they call that diabetes. They can call it diabetes, but really it's just a hormone cell and receptor issue. And that's how hormones work in the body. They're literally keys to open up certain organs or certain parts of your body to tell your body to do a specific job or function. Let me give you one more example. You guys might be familiar with this. There's a little area in your brain called the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is an area that tells your body, it does a lot of things, but one of the main things it does, it tells your body to burn fat for energy. Has anybody heard of the hormone leptin? And you might be shaking your head yes, or some of you are saying no, and that's okay. Leptin is the hormone that your body uses to unlock the hypothalamus so that your hypothalamus can talk to your body and say, hey, burn fat for energy. So with that, there's a thing called leptin resistance. This is also known as weight loss resistance. Why am I talking about this? This is the person that they literally have cut back on their calories. They're eating really healthy. Yeah. Heidi, these are people that they actually go to the gym, and every time when they're on the gym or they're doing this, nothing changes with their health, with their weight. Yeah. This is leptin resistant. There's so many people that I see that struggle with this. And we think it's our genetics. We think it's because that's what we've been told. It's not a genetic thing. A lot of times it's a hormone resistance thing. I mean, leptin, the hormone, the key, is traveling to your brain, to your hypothalamus. And at the hypothalamus, there's some damage to the receptors, like to that lock and key arrangement. Hopefully that makes sense there. And here's the beauty of this. Well, first of all, let me show you. These are the two things that causes all or most of the hormone resistance in the body. One, eating too much sugar over time, which we're not going to get into that here today, but
totally guilty.
Yeah, and believe me, we're not perfect in our house either. Yeah. But the second, and I think the most concerning thing is toxins. Nobody talks about that. Everybody wants to talk about the sugar and the carbs. Nobody talks about the toxins that are affecting the hormones. So when you have sugars and you add in toxins, that equals disrupted hormones. And what the hormones we're talking about is every hormone in the body is affected, but leptin, insulin, which is the sugar one, leptin is the one that tells your body to burn fat for energy. Ghrelin, that's your hunger hormone. So you can literally be hungry and have all these cravings all the time because your hormones are telling your brain that's what you need. Thyroid, that's the metabolism hormone. Cortisol, the stress hormone. Here are the hormones that I see, and I see affected most and not dealt with from a root cause perspective. What do I mean by that? These are hormones like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and both female and males have testosterone, but men sometimes aren't even included in this. Cortisol and thyroid, all of these hormones when I see issues with this, the steps that I see is hormone replacement. It's things that are going to cover up like the bigger symptoms of this. But those are, while they might help you with symptoms, they're never getting to the root cause, because the cause a lot of times is that there's toxins that are affecting these hormones to begin with. And I'm not one to be against medication. There's a time and place for that. If medications are good and they can save your life, but if we don't ask why enough and get to the root causes, we're just going to cover up symptoms and never really dig deep. And this is the example I like to give. If I'm in my yard picking, we call those weeds, right? I don't just pick the leaves, right? What do you try to get?
The roots.
The roots. So same thing with our health. We don't want to pick the leaves so we don't see it anymore. We want to get to the root, and that's what this is. So these are some of the signs of hormonal imbalances. If there's irritability, if there's anxiety or depression, fatigue, insomnia, weight gain, migraines, low energy, fatigue, impaired memory loss, hair loss, infertility. I know that there's so many of us out there. Once again, this is not just a female problem. This is also a male problem. We all, to some degree, can deal with all of these things. And a lot of those root causes could be that there's a hormone issue underneath the surface. Is there anything you want to?
I think this is eye-opening, because for so many of us, and I talk to women all the time, and I see this checklist of things that you've listed here, and they can all go back to hormonal imbalance, and they might be believing their whole lives that it's something completely different. So I think this
Absolutely.
is very eye-opening for all of us.
Well, they tell us it's your genetics. Yeah. Oh, it's your age. This is supposed to happen at certain times, and there are changes that happen. I'm not going to deny that, but it shouldn't be to the degree that we're seeing it in our society. And I hope that people are understanding that. So I know this is something Heidi has talked about in the past, bioaccumulation. The way I like to talk about bioaccumulation, if you have not heard about this before, I'll explain it briefly, but it's the bucket. Bioaccumulation is just how toxins accumulate in our bodies. If you have a bucket and I start to pour water into that bucket, eventually, if I don't stop pouring water, what happens? It overflows. Excuse me. And that overflowing comes out as symptoms, disease, and dysfunction. So what are some of the things that overflow our bucket? Even from as a mom to a baby, prenatally, there's over 200 to 300 carcinogenic toxins that can be transferred to the mom. This is when they do research and they look, in the umbilical cord blood.
That just blows me away. Oh. When I heard you say that for the first time, I couldn't even believe it.
And this is because in our society, every single year, we make more chemicals and we expose ourselves to. It's not just, hey, what's we're putting on our skin and what we're ingesting. It's just breathing the air is toxic. I mean, there's so many things out there. Medications, that's another toxin. Like I said earlier, even if they're saving your life, your body has to deal with medications to some degree. Heavy metals, this is another one. These heavy metals we come in contact with through our food, to the things that we put on our skin, all that stuff gets absorbed by the body. Toxic products. You guys are all are experts in this. Hopefully, if not, then you're becoming experts. Toxic foods, these are all the different layers. Toxic vaccines. We're not talking about our vaccine good or bad. This is just, if you look at the ingredients on vaccines, there are toxins in there. These are just the ways that our body or our buckets get filled. Then we have dysfunction and symptoms. And these dysfunction and symptoms, I'll kind of briefly go through what does this look like. When you have dysfunction symptoms, this could be skin issues. This could be the hormonal stuff we're talking about. This could be autoimmune issues. A lot of times we think that our immune system is just there to help us prevent or fight germs or viruses. Yes, that is one of the things it does, but the main function of the immune system is that it helps to take toxins out. It helps to cleanse our body. So if we're overburdened by all this toxicity stuff, then what happens is your immune system could go haywire, and it can actually start attacking yourself. This is called an autoimmune issue. I don't know about you, Heidi, but for me, when I was growing up, I can't remember one child in my class ever that had a peanut allergy.
No.
Now, in some airlines, you can't even take peanuts on the plane because it's such a rampant thing. I'm not saying it's not a real thing, but what's the cause of it? And it's the immune system that's so hyperactive because of all the toxicity in a lot of cases. So is there anything else you wanted to add to that, or?
No, I think that's good. I know on your next slide, we'll talk a little bit more in depth on some of this.
We're going to go into toxic top 4. Just briefly, these are some of the things toxins do, and I'll kind of just bullet point these out. They poison or damage enzymes. Enzymes are used for every single reaction in your body. So if your enzymes are poisoned or damaged, your body is not functioning metabolically. Displaces minerals. They can actually replace bones, the mineral like calcium and magnesium in the bones, which then weakens the bones. We know osteoporosis, right? It damages organs. One of the two main organs that it damages, actually, I'm gonna have to say three. It's the brain, number one. The liver gets damaged. And one of the organs that is most highly, I would say a gland, not an organ, affected by toxins is your thyroid gland. It has a very high affinity to toxins. Damages DNA, which increases aging, burdens the immune system I chatted about, and impairs hormone. And there's a lot more. So here are the toxic top 4. Number 1 is household products. Now this is anything in your house that you're using either to clean your house or to clean yourself or to use on your body. Heidi, you talk, I'm sure, extensively, and I know you do because we've chatted about this before, on anything that goes on your skin gets what? Absorbed.
It absorbs,
right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Your skin absorbs it. It's, the largest organ of your body.
Yep.
And just like you said, it really hits home because so often people will say, I have this skin issue happening. What do you have for this skin issue? And yes, we have amazing products at Lemongrass. We have skincare and body care and things you can use topically. But sometimes you have to get to the root of why your skin is reacting to certain things that are going on, maybe outside of your skincare routine.
Absolutely.
But at Lemongrass, of course, we're committed always to toxin-free ingredients. And we have been for 17 years. And so it's interesting when you say the toxic top 4, because obviously household products include, your body care, your skin care, and of course, cosmetics.
But think about it. You're using these things typically every single day. Like there's not a day that goes by that I don't wear a deodorant. There's not a day that goes by that I don't shower. Maybe when I'm on Kilimanjaro, we didn't shower for 5 days, but that's a different story. But I still use products that put stuff on my face, right? The healing balm. So you're constantly exposed and you're constantly absorbing these things. A rule of thumb in our house is if you wouldn't eat it, I wouldn't put it on my skin. And it should be that safe. So
exactly.
Number 2, we talked about medications. Sometimes we're taking these medications and we don't even think that this has an effect on our body because it is helping us to some degree, right? So it's masking a symptom or helping us stay in balance. But like I said earlier, not against medication. What I'm against is taking a medication and not asking why, trying to find those root causes. Every medication is still a toxic to the body that your liver and your body has to process. So that's another one of the top 4. Number 3 is Teflon cookware. This is one that drives me bananas. Why? In most European countries, Teflon's been banned already. We have tried to ban it here in the US since 2015, and every single year it doesn't go through, it doesn't get banned I'm sure there's a lot of other monetary reasons why that's happening, but Teflon has been shown that not just the chips, we think, if it's not chipped, it's the fumes that come off of that, and that has been shown in different lab testing with rats that they can produce cancer cells in rats from just the fumes of Teflon. So, and then
incredible. So what do you suggest in place of Teflon? What do you use?
Great question. There's a lot of different alternatives. One, just cast iron. Your body actually uses iron. Iron is great for your red blood cells. Stainless steel, a good high-grade stainless steel is a good option. Something that's ceramic-based is a great option. Yep. Titanium, that's a little bit more on the pricier end, but that's another great option. So there are a lot of good options out there when it comes to transitioning. And what I tell people is, hey, if you can't do it all at once, just pick the one pan or pot that you use the most. Start with that one.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's one there. And then the last one is waters, plastics. When it comes to water, I have not seen one public water, tap water, that is actually healthy in the United States. All of them have some type of toxicity in them. Here where we live in Florida, I think we're top 3 or 4 maybe in the nation as far as how bad it is. And what happens with water is that all these plants that process the water, they will get the major things out there, like the big things out, and they'll make it where it doesn't have a lot of germs in there with chlorine and all that, but the chlorine still stays in the water.
Yeah.
Some of the things that they can't get out of there, believe it or not, is what we're talking about right now. It's hormones. Our bodies excrete hormones, especially when we're taking medications. Some of that gets down into our urine, and that goes into our water supply. And guess what? The system that we have in place, that most of the water filtration plants out there, or sewage plant, I can't think of the name, the distillation plants, they can't take those out. There's no process to take those hormones out or those medications, so you're actually taking those in. So then we think, okay, well, we'll just get water in plastic bottles. Well, there's an issue there too. But once you put it in the plastic bottle, those can leach. So we recommend full house filtration systems. If you can't do that, do a point of use unit filtration system. If you can't do that, then you can always order water in and just try to get like a hard plastic type of container. So those are some options there when it comes to water.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because obviously everybody's been told drink a lot more water. And so we are, but we still might be infiltrating ourselves just with chemicals. And like you said, with the hormones, that's eye-opening to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a slide I want to kind of jump in here, and I'm going to try to walk us through this. I know you guys are seeing. So I'm going to start on the left side of the screen. That's the body there. There's two different types of toxins that we encounter. There's endotoxins. These are toxins that our bodies create themselves. Like your body does create toxins. A good example is your muscles. Your muscles, as they do the work that they do, they create little toxins, a little bit of toxicity that your body excretes. Sometimes they get overburdened, and if you've heard of what, like, your muscles get tight and there's like little things called trigger points, or areas that are really tender, those are little areas of toxins that have accumulated within the muscle. So then you have to work that out to get it to release. So those are just examples of endotoxins. Exotoxins is toxins that come from outside. These are the toxins that actually create the bioaccumulation in our body, and that's what we're talking about here today. So there's 3 different phases. You can see them there in the red. There's phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 detoxification that happens in the body. You have to get through all 3 for you to actually detox the body. Many of us will do certain detoxes where there's like one product that helps you detox your body. It'll say that. That is very dangerous, because I have never found one product that could do all 3 of these. There has to be a system and a process. The one product, the one I see the most, by the way, some people just do cleanses, which is more just for your gut. Some people will do more like just a liver detox. These are all good things, but if you truly want to detox and get to root causes, you have to make sure you're going through all 3 of the phases. So phase 1 to 2, this is where most products out there work. It has higher B vitamins, certain minerals, branched-chain amino acids, bioflavonoids. Those are your antioxidants, basically, and glutathione is one of those antioxidants. And that takes something that's really toxic and converts it to something a little bit less toxic. And that's the intermediary. That's the middle part of the page you're looking at. At that point there, those molecules are very reactive. This is when antioxidants like vitamin, you see at the bottom of the page there, vitamins A, C, and E, CoQ10, bioflavonoids, other antioxidants, selenium, copper, zinc, all those things help to counteract the reactivity. You guys have heard of free radicals. This is what we're talking about. If you don't have enough of the antioxidants there, then you are and can create a lot of tissue damage. And by the way, Heidi, I know that earlier last year, late last year, we did some tests, and one of the things we do is functional testing, metabolic testing. We want to make sure that all of these levels are where they should be, because if you are missing some of these, we know it's accelerating the aging process. We know it's damaging certain tissues and organs. We know, so we're not going to wait until we have the damage. We're going to see and make sure ahead of time that we do those testing. And that's something that my family and I, we do every 2 years. Every 2 years, we test to see, hey, how does all this look? How is all this working? Is there any gaps we need to fill? So
what's the name of the test, just so our viewers know what to plug into?
The one that we did, it's an organics test from Genova Diagnostics.
Yeah.
But there's many tests. It would be dependent on what you're going, like if there's a specific case history there, we might be more specific. That's the big general one that I run. So somebody who's decently healthy, maybe has a couple of things that we want to tweak, that it's a Genova, and it's an organics test by Genova. And at the end, I can put my information in the comments, and they can email me if they have questions on that. So
okay.
So then from a phase 1, it goes to phase 2. That's when your body uses certain amino acids. Glutathione's a big one there. And if you don't have those, it will never get to phase 3, which is where the key happens. Phase 3, which is on the right side of your screen now, this is where these toxins either get excreted through the blood, the kidneys and urine, or some of those, and a lot of those go to your liver. That's where the bile, you see a bile there? I should have put liver. But the bile acids, that gets dumped into your gut, and then it gets excreted. Here's where I see the biggest issue. Most people have a sluggish liver because of all the toxins that they've dealt with for a long time. Once the liver gets sluggish, those toxins back up, and no matter how much phase 1 and 2 detoxification you do, that this is a person who actually starts the detox process and gets very sick. And I've had that happen. Or they have the detox flu. Those things happen because the liver is not working to its maximum potential there. So that's something we have to address. Once it's in our gut, we don't want that gut to reabsorb that. So we have to have something like activated charcoal, certain chlorella or greens that binds them, or fiber that binds it so that you can actually release it and you don't reabsorb it. So that's why I mentioned there's not one product that does this. You have to have a step-by-step process for that. And next slide here. I have a best-selling book. It's called The 14-Day Reboot. And in the book, we talk about the 4-step remove rebuild process. Now, for time purposes, we don't have, I can't go through the full 4 steps here, but in talking with Heidi, I wanted to do something special for you guys, for everyone on. And this is the book. It's the 14-Day Reboot, Jumpstart You Need to Lose Weight, Rebalance Hormones, and Detox Your Body. If you go to the www.the14dayreboot.com, I'm going to send you out a free copy of the book, not like a PDF or anything. You're going to get the full copy. All you have to do is just pay for the shipping. It's $6.95, I believe. It's on the website for shipping. We'll send you the book. The book will go through the 4-step process. It's going to go through. If you want to do the 14-day reboot, it'll have a daily, hey, this is what you're going to do every single day. It'll give you suggestions. There's a list of foods on there. There's there's a ton. There's 3 different sections. I love the last section. The last section of the book will talk to you about, okay, here's all the science stuff in the middle. And the last section says, okay, how do you do this and you make it doable for your family? Like you saw already, I have a family of 4. We have struggled through this for a lot of years, but we've given you a lot of steps of how to make it easier and not harder nutritionally. So, and detoxification. So that's there. That's available for you guys, for everyone. And one other thing I wanted to do, well, before we get there, this is what the Reboot can help you with. It can help rebalance hormones, decrease inflammation, which inflammation, by the way, it's the basis for most diseases out there. 90+% of diseases have an inflammatory component. Sleep disturbances, chronic fatigue, you have digestive issues or dysfunction. Obviously can help with weight loss, but I see weight loss as a side effect. Weight loss is a side effect of getting our hormones in balance. Weight loss is a side effect of getting your body healthier internally. Allergies and asthma, autoimmune issues, and it can help start the process to reverse diseases like heart disease, cancer, diabetes, all those chronic diseases out there. One of the things that in the book we talk about is there are some products that if you can do it without products. If you get the book and you just want to do it without products, there's a plan for that. But we wanted to do a giveaway, and there are some products that will accelerate or enhance the Reboot process. So these are the products, and we wanted to actually, for somebody on here today, we want to give away not only the products, but also online. I have a master class, I also call it a Quick Start program, that will take everything that's in the book and actually go deeper into that. I'm literally, you can see some of the pictures there. I'm in my kitchen showing people, like sharing with you, like,
I
hey,
love that.
Yeah. So these are the products you use. This is, we talk about lateral shifts in the book. What is that? That's how you take something you're already doing and you just make it healthier. So I'm in my kitchen showing and sharing with everyone how to do that. We go through our pantry. Sometimes I'm in a whiteboard going deeper into some of the subject that's in the book. So that plus the package that you're getting there, that's going to be a giveaway. And Heidi, how are they going to get the giveaway?
So we want to run this until 6 p.m. tonight. It's the 12th of February till 6 p.m. Eastern. And all you need to do is drop in a comment, hashtag 14-day reboot. It's right at the top of your screen. Just add a hashtag to it, 14-day reboot. And from all of the people that drop the comment with the hashtag, you're going to be entered to win this giveaway. Awesome. It's very, very generous of you. And especially don't please take advantage of that book offer. For $6.95, getting a copy of Dr. Serrano's book, there's so much helpful information, whether you choose to reboot or not. I mean, not only the meal planning ideas, but just the sources of illness that can happen. I think just being aware and also being able to help the people around you as they're explaining to you issues that they might be having. It may trigger something that you've read in this book, thinking, you know what, maybe you should check and see about some of your toxicity levels.
Yeah, and I think with the book itself, I think it's just knowledge. When you go out to speak on, hey, detoxification and why why you should use lemongrass products, right? This is going to give you some of that knowledge in the background. One thing I wanted to say about the Quick Start program, on our website, drserrano.me, you can purchase that for $299, $300 for the whole course with, I forgot now, maybe 20 or 30 videos on there. There's shopping guides. There's all sorts of stuff on there. But when you get the Reboot book through that website, I put a special link on there. So if you guys wanted to, and there's obviously no pressure here, but if you wanted to get the class, you're going to get it for $47 because you've gone through this presentation here. So that's just another thank you for having me on that I wanted to extend.
Thank you.
And the winner is getting both. They're going to get the full $300 online program and the supplements, and we'll send those out as soon as we get a winner.
Wow. Thank you.
Yep. You can get the book at the 14dayreboot.com. Free book, just pay for the shipping. Thank you guys thank you everyone for having me, and thank you, Heidi. This has been fun. I love this. Yeah.
I appreciate the information. It's fantastic. Please check out the website. He also has a really dynamic Facebook page with customer testimonials as well. There's people that have seen you before and seen huge results. So thank you again for coming in and blessing us with all this fantastic health information going into 2020.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. And I'll put my personal email below so they can email me if they like.
That sounds great. Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it.